Good morning, it's Wednesday the 25th.
Very much. Back with Steph a little bit later.
Yeah, she'll have no voice by the end of the morning.
This background noise is making us shout.
70 minutes.
Of the satellite broadcaster B-Sky B.
And NHS... Ah, okay.
We will wonder no longer.
Yes, indeed. Thanks very much.
We will prepare ourselves. Carol, thank you. 6:20.
Yeah, mix all day abroad.
And all-inclusive deals. Not everyone's happy, and Tim Muffet has been looking at all-inclusives, Tim.
Well, it's a very good question. As you say, they have rocketed in popularity, up 50.
Yeah, well, he's not the only person who is unhappy, but how widespread is the anger towards all-inclusive holidays?
Well, we saw a couple of bar owners there, and we did...
Have a view on that, and if you do, get in touch with us this morning.
Here's another view, which you might not be expecting us to ask for this morning, but stand by. Change your bed sheets. 3 weeks.
That's often. I mean, really, not that often then. It wasn't very scientific, but it's a sub had strong views when we went to Alford and Newcastle.
Because men hardly ever bother.
So how often? That's the question we're asking you this morning.
Yes, 26 minutes past 6. Putting this to the everything. And once a week. I love the man, yeah.
Not sure I want to think about it in too much detail.
I love your chap whose wife says it once a week and he time now to get new travel and weather where you are.
See you in a moment.
23 miles up.
Wow. And the soprano Leslie Garrett has scaled heights of a different kind in a career lasting almost 30 years. She's going to be with us this morning to tell us why she's...
So shares 50 newfangled things. Everybody seems to...
You wouldn't write this because it was unbelievable. You would have written Chelsea off completely last night. We talked so much about Lionel Messi, haven't we? Incredible game of football. What a life, eh?
Just in terms of piece of camera. Yeah.
Now, as you stand sheltering from
the Rutland Water Reservoir to explain. Morning, Charlotte. Thanks very much.
Yep, thank you very much. 6:44, you're watching Breakfast from BBC News. Our main news headlines this morning. The Culture Secretary...
Okie dokie. Now, can we just take it back? Change it if we didn't ask. Thanks very much.
6:47, the latest figures on how much or how little the UK...
Growth. Morning, Steph.
Steph, thanks very much indeed. And for full details of the referendums and other...
Controversial issue.
Yeah.
One of the most controversial issues we've talked about for... Change your bed sheets. And we're speaking to some people out on the streets who said...
Horrified. You see? It gets passions rising.
Some of which we can actually read out on air, including this one. He said...
Anyway, how often do you change your sheets, Bill?
The sheets in my house are changed once a week.
They are changed.
Coming up later on Breakfast.
And he has knobbly knees and turned out toes. No, not Bill. It's the Gruffalo, of course, though. Our main news this morning. And
our political correspondent, Ross Hawkins. Thanks very much, Ross Hawkins, and those proceedings.
We'll have lots more on that in the sports news.
Diabetes.
The United Nations Special Envoy to Syria, Kofi Annan, has expressed concern about reports of surges in violence after visits by UN peace monitors to Syrian cities. And the Scottish Government will take place later today.
Donald Trump is fighting...
Donald Trump is not known for subtlety.
And people sometimes talk about the ground vanishing from under their feet. Well, it literally happened to one teenager in China.
Have a look at... Oh, was it her fault?
Yeah, no, somebody said, have you gone? You've disappeared. Have you gone somewhere? Anyway, glad she was unhurt. Those are the main stories. It's 8:10.
He left for work and spoke briefly to reporters. Well, let's speak now to the deputy. It may not have been Mr Hunt himself. There may have been conversations between advisers and go-betweens. There may have been go-betweens who were exaggerating the sort of information that they were receiving. All of these are maybes. So to call for his resignation at the moment is simply much indeed, and Rupert Murdoch will appear before the Leveson inquiry later on today.
Yeah, should be interesting.
It's on record, as Carol keeps warning us, the hosepipe bans are likely to be here to stay for some time yet. Charlotte Leeming has gone, so have a directly elected mayor.
And that 10 English cities are holding referendum next week to decide whether it's a change miles above the earth.
I've got vertigo just thinking about it. On the way down, he'll face extremes of speed, of pressure and heat. If successful, he's going to break a world record. If he fails, no one's hiding the fact the consequences could be disastrous.
And he joins us now from Austin.
Those are the main stories this morning. Here's what's coming up on Breakfast. Around 20 years, more than that, but it's recent events.
It's to 9, let's get a look at the weather.
And she's written around 100 stories, including Stickman, Tiddler, Smartest Giant in Town, and she's here to talk about
this incredible museum anyway, the 7 stories. It's got
a great interactive entry in, if you like, to your work.